Please welcome to the stage In Q, Emmy-nominated poet, multi-platinum songwriter, and best-selling author of Inquire Within.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Is there any way we can bring that light down a little bit and not mess up the recording of it? Is that okay? Because I want to be able to see you guys. All right. I know you were all there at the opening the other day, so we're going to do something similar. I just want to bond the room. Everybody stand up out of your chairs again. I know it's so annoying, but let me tell you why I do this. When people come into an audience, they are all islands. And when you actually connect the room for a moment, intentionally, we become the ocean. So I want you guys to introduce yourself or reintroduce yourself to three people around you, but do it with an enormous amount of enthusiasm. Ready? Reintroduce yourselves. All right, great. Everybody put one hand up in the sky, snap it out. Everybody put the other hand up, snap it out. Start to jump around a little bit, make some noise, and just kind of bang into the person next to you. Back and forth, make a mini gathering mosh pit. Just kind of bang into them. Great. Everybody shake it out. Use your voices. Go, ah. All right, if you feel good, say yeah. Yeah. If you feel alive, say yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys can sit down. Do you feel the energy shift, though? Yeah. It's a state change. Sometimes you have to try to be enthusiastic so that you can naturally feel enthusiastic. I want to buy a house where I can make memories in every room. Plant a garden in my backyard and watch the flowers bloom. It will be big, but not so big the guests would get lost. It will be nice, but not so nice that everybody whispers, wait, what it cost? It will have gorgeous views. But being higher doesn't mean superior. I've learned not to judge a house by what's on the exterior, it's what's on the interior. And I don't mean design because a house is not a home unless the people are aligned. I used to want a mansion. I thought that would bring me joy. I went and bought a lot of shit that I had no time to enjoy. I was working for a living, but it wasn't working because I wasn't living. And a life without living is unfulfilling, filling up the empty space with all the things that I was getting, yet I could never get enough or give enough to be enough. And that was constantly upsetting. I mean, value is a funny thing. Is it something that I own or is it something that I bring? Experiences can be priceless and some don't cost a thing. Because once you make your mind up, you can accomplish anything, even if it seemed impossible. Impossible is, say it with me, we take for granted that defying gravity is illogical. Intend what you desire, and your will be unstoppable. See, hope can be despair in disguise. A psychic told me that shit once. I was like, that's a bar. Can I write that down? Hope can be despair in disguise. So instead, I decide Then I watch as reality realigns. After all, what is time if it's different in a different place? We're all in one place, floating out in outer space. They'll never bottle time. I can't buy anymore. And if I could, it'd be sold out at every corner store. So lately I've been thinking, what if less is really more? If my mortality is what I'm really living for? I want to slide in socks across Italian marble floors. I want imported art to fill up every corridor. I want our kid to use our bed like it's their trampoline, to walk on top of our couch like it's their balance beam. I want to use my things so they aren't using me. After all, the most important things in life are free. I did a show with 1,000 people once, and this woman stood up and said, "Me!" I was like, I mean, you're right, but you don't understand the poem, do you? We only borrow land. We only borrow time. We only borrow love. But you can borrow mine. My house is your house. Stay over anytime. If you're a friend, you'll have a permanent vacancy sign. Community is what our culture is lacking. We pretend to be connected, but mostly it's just unscripted acting. We isolate ourselves and hide from our emotions, then pack our schedules as an excuse to stay in motion. I'm living by the beach, and yet I never see the ocean. It's always out of reach in the midst of my commotion. God forbid I'd have to sit alone without distraction. It's tough to notice thoughts when I'm constantly in action. No matter what your status is, that isn't your satisfaction. So I don't only care what we do, I care that we're doing it with passion. Ow! Everybody do that shit. Ready? Ow! That's why we all should share our gifts and cultivate compassion, because the fastest way to bliss is through a meaningful interaction. And since I'm not even sure that we exist, I've started asking if this world of form is merely the illusion of my attachment. If I could let it all go, my roof would be the stars, my floor would be the earth, my doors would be ajar, my walls would be the wind, my seat would be a stone, my bed would be the clouds, my heart would be my home. But since I have a family and I don't live this life alone, I'm gonna buy a house where I can make memories in every room. All right, we are going to do a poetry workshop together, which apparently sounds fucking horrible to you people. And I understand why. But I promise this is going to be an amazing experience. And if you take it seriously, it will take you seriously. And this can be surprisingly transformational for you guys as individuals, for your companies or teams, and for this particular community that is taking their time in this room right here, right now. So everybody put up your notebooks so that I know you all have your notebooks really high so that I see. Okay, does anybody not have a notebook? Just yell out so we can get one to you. All right, perfect. How many people in here consider themselves poets? I mean, I know that you guys are in marketing. Okay, so we have a handful of you. That's great. How many of you guys consider yourselves storytellers? Raise your hands. Okay, so if you're a storyteller, you're a poet. and vice versa. And it's my belief that we are all storytellers, whether we know it or not. And the stories that we tell ourselves and other people become our lives. Change your story, change your life. Change your life, change the world. So we're going to change our story here together. I'm going to give you guys a prompt. And the first thing that I want you to do is just start to write down the prompt. And afterwards, just trust me in the process, and this will all start to flow. I will give you all the context that you need to know about poetry and what we're doing today. But I want to activate you by you actually writing down the prompt. So you don't need to follow exact word for word, but you do need to get the overall message of what I'm saying. Today, what we're going to write about is, think of a time in your life where you took a giant leap and it paid off. So I want you to think of a time where you took a giant leap, a really big risk, and it paid off positively for you. So I want you to write about something that you were really happy with the result of, or something that you learned a valuable lesson from the experience. Those can be the same thing or they can be different. Is everybody writing this down? Now, this can be personal or professional. It could be an emotional leap. It could be a mental leap. It could be a physical leap. It could be, this is just random examples, but like starting a new career, or, moving to a new city, or taking a risk on love, or taking a risk on getting out of a relationship that wasn't right for you. It could be any of those things. It could be therapy, learning a new skill, taking an adventure. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me what the leap was. So write this down. Tell me what the giant leap was. Tell me what you felt before, during, and after. Tell me what you learned from the experience. How it changed who you are as a human being. And ultimately, why you're grateful for it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So tell me what the leap was, what you felt before, during, and after, what you learned from it, how it changed who you are, and ultimately, why you're grateful. Okay, I have almost no rules for poetry. I've been doing this for, almost 30 years at this point. And what I have learned is that if you want a poem to rhyme, it can rhyme. If you don't want it to rhyme, it doesn't have to rhyme. If you want it to be long, it can be long. If you want it to be short, it could be short, as long as you're not shorting yourself. Do you know what I mean when I say that? We have a very limited time to write. I think I'm going to give you guys like 10 to 12 minutes. So what I would suggest is use your time. You probably would never get an opportunity to express something like this in this environment through this particular genre of art. So I actually think you should just dive in, because if you do, I promise you it'll spark you in strange ways that open up things. The second thing is, and this is very important, you have to choose something moving and meaningful to you, okay? So it can't be something that's on the surface. It has to be something that emotionally charges you. It has to be something that you wouldn't normally talk about after 10 or 15 minutes at a dinner party. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? It needs to be a layer deeper. Because if you choose something that is moving and meaningful to you, what will happen is the poem will start to write itself. And all you have to do is be the vehicle for it and get out of the way. And that leads me to the last rule of poetry. And I have to say this specifically for this group because you're a bunch of high achievers. Don't try to make this great. Do not even try to make this good. What I want you to do is tell the truth. Make this true. And I promise, if you just say to yourself before you start, I'm writing a poem, and then you choose something moving and meaningful, and then you tell the truth, the poem will be better than good. It will be great, and it will connect to a lot of people around you. Now, I'm going to give you these 10 or 12 minutes to write. Before I do, I'm going to do an example of the prompt so that you guys have one more chance to kind of settle in and think about what it is that you want to do today. It is my philosophy. I do these literally, it's probably 60 workshops a year. And what I have learned over and over again in life and in these workshops is that if you want people to be vulnerable with you, you have to lead by example. You have to be vulnerable first. Otherwise, it's kind of irresponsible. So can I do something vulnerable that's about the prompt? Guys, I'm going to need way more because once again, that was halfway there. I'm going to need way more. Okay. I'm going to do a poem about a giant leap that I took when I asked my wife to marry me. What'd you say? Did you say, ooh? Okay. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and I told her that we were going to meet our friends for a socially distanced dinner in the middle of a pasture in Utah. And because of schedules, by the time we arrived, we were late. And even though the sun was setting, she was hungry to the point of being hangry. And my friends were supposed to bring the food. So she's like, where are they? And I was in a really romantic mood. So I was like, I don't know. But can I read you this poem that I wrote about you? And she goes, before dinner? And I said, yeah. She literally had no idea what was about to happen. And she goes, well, is it going to make me cry? And I go, probably. She goes, before dinner? And I just grabbed her hand and I said, every love poem I ever wrote was about you. You are every dream I've ever had. Somehow you've come true. You are every dream I've never had. Somehow you've come true. I gaze into your eyes and know there'll never be a better view. I see heaven in your face. I see children in your smile. I see our future in our present. Will you stay with me a while? Will you dance without the music? Will you laugh without the jokes? Will you cry without a reason? Will you play with all the notes? I've come to love you in a way that is impossible to quote. Forever and a day is not enough. Forever is a joke. Any moment we're together is forever, now or never. Whether you are in my arms or too far away to measure, I respect you in the pain. I accept you in the pleasure. I'll be your shelter in the rain so you can shine in any weather. Every love poem I wrote was an invisible letter, reaching out beyond my time and space to what I would discover from a place that was unknown to a home inside each other. I am floating on a cloud. I am singing in a gutter. Our relationship is sailing and we do not need a rudder. I don't care where we go from here because here is with each other. Your soul is like a mirror. You're a goddess and a lover. You're a sister and a brother. You're a father and a mother. You're a son and you're a daughter. You're a stranger and a friend. Even when I end, our love's not something I will transcend. You're more than just a perfect 10. Your beauty lies behind your skin. It's the way you taste, reminding me of everyone I've been. It's the way you smell, reminding me of everywhere I've been. Your sweetness overwhelms me. Can we end where we begin? I'll only come back to write our story intertwined again. You're the greatest poem I ever read. You made me find my pen. You're the greatest poem I ever wrote. The wisdom from within you inspire me. It took me lifetimes to comprehend. You're my who, what, where, and when. You're my why even try. I vow to have you and to hold you till the day I say goodbye. I vow for better or for worse. As long as you are by my side, I vow to cherish you in sickness and in health until I die. On our first date, you asked me why I hadn't settled down. I refused to give an answer, but I have your answer now. I was always waiting for you. You're the reason that you asked. My words have never done you justice, but I search for them at last. I've asked myself 1,000 questions about who I want to be. I've asked myself 1,000 questions to reflect on you and me. I've asked myself 1,000 questions, but your love's what set them free. There's only one question left. So I'll ask it on one knee. That's when I got down on one knee, by the way, just to keep you in real time, so you can visualize it. And I looked up at her and I said, "You don't give a fuck about dinner now, do you?" No, I didn't say that. I said, "Will you marry me?" And she said yes. And then we kissed, and the guy that I had hired to take pictures jumped out of the bushes like a ninja. It's quite a scene. You'll be happy. Thank you. You'll be happy to know we had set up a picnic for her just right around the corner. So that was a time when I took a giant leap, and it paid off. Whenever anybody asks me about marriage, I say it's the absolute best decision of my life. And now she's 7.5 months pregnant with our first child. And so we're about to take another fucking giant leap, right? So what I want you to do is think of your own life. Think of something that is moving and meaningful to you, and take this opportunity to explore it through poetry. Before you start, what are you going to say? I'm writing a... Exactly. Second, you're going to choose something moving and then you're not going to try to make this great. You're just going to make something true. After I let you write, we're going to get probably 2 or 3 people to get up here and perform their poem. I know. I do not want you thinking about performing the poem while you're writing the poem, because then you're going to start to think, I don't want somebody to hear this. Or you're going to start to think, do I actually want to get up in the first place? The writing is for you. Whoever gets up on stage, it's only going to be positive, constructive, loving, caring, passionate, compassionate feedback. So it's going to be a celebration of this human being, and everybody's going to get a chance to cheer for them, and they're going to feel an alchemy and release that will surprise everybody in the room. But don't think about that while you're writing, because the writing isn't about the performing. The writing is about the expression of whatever this story is. I promise you, I will not embarrass anybody here. I consider everybody in here my family. If you are in this room right now, I fucking love you and I'm on your side. So I will not play anybody out. Make this writing something that is moving and meaningful for you first. All right, we're going to take 10 to 12 minutes to do this. I'll keep you posted on time. Do not check your phones. Go right into the energy of the writing. Enjoy. All right, we got to get started. How you feeling out there? What was that experience like for you guys? I see a lot of emotion. Does anybody fucking hate me? What's happening? What's happening out here? Let's all take 3 collective deep breaths together. Ready? In through the nose, out through the mouth. We're gonna do another one, even bigger. Out through the mouth. Now do this with your hands. Go like this. And make some noise when you let it out. Go, ah. Roll out your head a little bit. Roll it out. Roll your shoulders up. And just put a big smile on your face. It's all going to be okay. Who was that easy for? Raise your hand. It just came pouring out. Okay. Yes? What's your name? Everybody say, hi, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. By the way, for this part, we actually need an obnoxious amount of enthusiasm. An obnoxious amount. Because the thing is, there are people that are going to volunteer to get up and read their poem in front of the gathering community. And that takes a lot of courage. It's scary to do something like that. So we actually have to over-support them. So everybody say, hi, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. All right. Tiffany, what was it like for you to speak really loudly? Or even I'll give you my microphone. What was
vulnerable, which I think was in the title of this, so I would imagine that was intended. Healing. So I wrote about something that happened 15 years ago that I don't think I realized is still bubbling underneath there. So yeah, it was really freeing.
Beautiful. Did you did the writing start to come very easily to you? Or was it something that you had to kind of get in the groove of?
The topic came easily,
Yeah.
But I fought myself on trying to make it eloquent or rhyming or pick the right word. And so it was a bit of a roller coaster, an inner battle of just kind of letting it fly.
How many people relate to that? Raise your hand. Okay, so
good.
a
It
lot of
wasn't
people
just
had
me.
a very similar experience. Let's see, who is it more challenging for? Let's see. Or even like emotional. Okay, what's your name? Brody. Everybody say, hi, Brody. Okay, what was your experience like? How was that for you?
It was emotional, very cathartic. It's something that always weighs on my mind, something that, again, happened 10, 11 years for me, almost losing a child. And something that, when you have a sick child, you're in the moment. You're not there for yourself, right? And then still dealing with some of those scars 10 years later. And
yeah, everybody snap it out
processing.
for him. Snap it out. Just give him some love. Dude, just even you saying that and you writing that is hugely courageous. And what you were talking about in terms of the vulnerability is hard and it's worth it and it's strength. So I feel your strength right now, even in your emotion. I don't normally ask somebody in terms of one of the two people to perform, but I do feel like you have a lot of emotion and it might be good for you to get it out. Would you want to get up and perform?
Sure.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite Brody to the stage. Now, here's the thing. Before we even do this, everybody look at Brody for a second. I want you to imagine that you've known him since he was a baby, okay? He is in your family. You fucking love him. And you are equally as invested in him getting up here and being vulnerable from a place of strength and sharing this story so he can get it out of his system so that the story doesn't have power over him, so he can release it into the world and he can have more power over the story. Does that make sense? So when I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time for Brody, It's not like, oh, cool, this is somebody in a room. It's not like, oh, cool, this is somebody we support at the gathering. You love him. So you have to go crazy. I want you guys to snap, clap, get up, cheer, over-exaggerate your enthusiasm because you're doing it for somebody that you care about. All right. Do you know him? Yes. Way more energy. Do you fucking love him? Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give it up for your first poetry performer of the gathering. Give it up one time for Brody.
I'm going to put this in here for you. Okay, so the first line unintentionally rhymed. So, the longest year of all our lives started with your yellow eyes. I knew that drive to the hospital would change us forever. I hate that I was right. That trip started a journey that changed us, broke us, but rebuilt us into something stronger. I'm a dad. I've always wanted to be a dad. I wanted to protect you, to save you from every monster under your bed or in your closet. But I didn't see that monster growing in you, taking you away from us. High speed and slow motion, tests, procedures, watching you suffer and slip away from the little boy I loved. How can I fight that? How can I protect you from the monster I can't see? Too quick to process. From protecting to praying, bargaining, pleading, but the monsters weren't listening. They weren't winning. You needed a new liver, but I couldn't give it to you. A life of hating myself ruined it for you. Guilt, another failure of protection. But your mom was good growing up, straight edge, clean. She gave you life twice, all of us twice. But that was the first step. Months recovering, losing bone marrow, losing weight, losing that glimmer in your eye I rushed home every day to see. I needed you to protect you, but I couldn't. So I decided to fight with you. I couldn't be in front of you, so I stayed by your side. I held your feet in that water when the nerve pain was too much. I held your hand when you asked me when we were going home. I held my thoughts at bay that scared the shit out of me. And slowly you came back. That glimmer flickered and came to life. I remember that first night back, months after leaving. I laid in bed with you, and I just started sobbing. You looked at me and asked, "Dad, why are you crying? We're home." I couldn't answer, but it was months of swallowing coming up, unable to hold it in. I can't protect the ones I love, but I can hold them. It's hard to say I'm grateful, but it took me years to see the good. Sometimes life lets you know it's ugly to see why it's beautiful. And that's what I'm grateful for, what I look for every day.
Wait, Brody, come back, man. Stay up here. Ladies and gentlemen, show so much love. Give it up one time. I want you to bow. Take a bow, man. Take a bow. Take a bow. Wait, just stay up here with me, man. That was fucking beautiful. Wasn't that an amazing, amazing poem? The subject matter, I understand, is so intense to share. So I just want to start with the poem. Wasn't the poem beautiful? The way that you wrote, you're an amazing writer, man. You're an amazing storyteller. You brought us into every moment, not only with our heads, but with our hearts. We were there with you. You could see, if you look out on the audience, the impact that you've had by being willing to share something so personal, because everybody got a chance to reflect on their own lives and the people that they love. It was truly, truly powerful what you did right now. How are you doing? How is that for you to share?
feels good in a way.
Yeah.
I always go back there in my head. So it felt good to go back, but also with those prompts kind of move forward into, not always, why did this happen and why, just to be grateful that it could have been a lot worse too, and I don't know. It was just very, yeah.
I also just want to say real quick, can we give him a huge round of applause for how he showed up for his family? All right. I know you're like definitely like, get me the fuck off this stage right now. So, but I just want to jump around with you a little bit because that was hard. So let's just bang up against each other and yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Give me a hug. Ladies and gentlemen, show a lot of love. Give it up one time for Brody. And maybe give him a hug, a couple of hugs before he sits down. Just give him a couple of hugs around him. Okay, who wants to go next? Raise your hand. I want to get a woman up. Yes, I saw your hand first. What's your name? Heather? Okay. Do you know her? Yeah. Guys, even more energy. We have to raise the energy in the spot. Do you love her? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time for Heather. Louder than you think.
New to me car winds down a mountain road, prairie bound. Moving van somewhere else, carrying things I salvaged. Goodbye to husband, check. Goodbye to home, check. Goodbye to daily pain, check. Goodbye to fists. Sorry.
You're doing good. Everybody snap it out for us. Just snap it out. Just
goodbye to the list of things that were wrong with me. Tears have mostly dried for now, so I can see the road ahead. I swallow hard and often, pushing down fear, anger, despair. Can't remember the rest of the trip, just pulling into a new town, sleeping in a hotel bed, longing, wishing I could go home, but it did not exist. I see that woman in my memory, and I wish I could give her the love she missed. I want to praise her for her bravery, thank her for the risk she took on us. Perhaps it's best she didn't see that someday she would be wrapped in a warm Sunday morning with the love of her life.
What?
That she would again have a home, be able to just rest her mind and her heart, because the loss needed to be faced and the strength had to be gained, and that compassion was required to grow for herself, for the past, for whatever comes next.
Wow. Wow. Stay up there. Take a bow. Take a bow. Take a bow. Come on, guys. Give it up one time for Heather. Holy shit. Wait. Okay. Canada has some fucking poets. Wow. What was that like for you? These two poems were unbelievable.
I'm shaking.
Okay, come up into the mic. Yeah. It's okay. By the way, let me just say this real quick. Everybody can sit down. Shaking is energy.
Yeah.
It's emotion. You know, emotion is energy in motion. If it doesn't move, it gets trapped inside of us and it becomes dis-ease. What does that become? Disease. Yeah. You take it out on somebody in traffic or something like that. You have to move the energy. You can move it in a lot of ways. But you could also move it in poetry. So this is actually good. Did you guys ever see Shrek? You know, he like farts and then he's like, better out than in. Emotions are like that. Better out than in. Okay, so you're shaking. How did that feel?
It was, there's a lot of shame that's been attached to that for me for a long time. And I actually just told, I'm here with two coworkers, and I told them that part of my life while we were here. And they were just like, you need to share that more. So to be up here to do it, like, it's kind of freaky. It's like this is meant to be. So thank you.
Yeah. It's actually one of the reasons that I like doing these workshops for adults and companies and corporate. I do Fortune 500 companies around the world. I didn't start doing it for adults. I started doing it for kids, junior high schools, libraries, juvenile facilities. And then I got a corporate gig. I realized adults need it as much, if not more, because they have more layers that are like, you got to get down into the truth. And they work with each other every day and they don't know who they're working with.
True. Yeah.
So that leads to lack of context. Lack of context leads to miscommunication. That messes up collaboration. So I guarantee you guys will feel like you had an experience today that will ripple into this room and the relationships. I want to show her a lot of love. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Heather. Okay, everybody can sit down. We're almost done. Everybody put up one hand like this, just one hand in the air. Okay, just tap a partner, one partner. Just tap a partner, just one side or the other. But make sure that you're looking at them in the eyes. Who does not have a partner? Raise your hand. Who does not have a partner? Okay, we gotta go sit with somebody else. We gotta make sure that you get a partner. Does everybody have a partner? Okay. So there's no way that we're going to get everybody up, and there's no way that everybody even wants to get up. The only thing that I will say is the poem isn't fully complete until you share it with one person. Because there is something about being witnessed and being unconditionally accepted and loved for whatever the story is that allows you to alchemize and release the energy. Does that make sense? So we're literally going to take, 6 or 7 minutes to do this. It's going to be very short. And what you're going to do is you're going to pair off with your partners. If you want to come on stage, you can. If you want to sit on the side, you can. I'm fine with that. The only thing is, do not leave the room. Because if you leave the room, I'll never be able to get you guys back for the closing thing. And we have to do a closing thing before I release you. It's actually very, very necessary and important. So I want you to just use this room. I want you to get as close to your partner as you can. You're going to have a partner A and partner B. Now, partner A, you're going to read your poem to partner B. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything in here. That is not something I'm interested. I don't want you to do something that you're uncomfortable doing in a way that causes you suffering. But what I want you to do is, I want you to look at Brody and Heather. Use their courage as your trampoline to read your poem to your one partner. Now, partner B, it is your responsibility to hold the same space that you've been holding in the audience. It's only loving, caring, passionate, compassionate feedback. They are your best friend in the world, okay? What they are saying means something to you. And then I want you guys to switch. So afterwards, congratulate your partner, then switch partner B, you read it to partner A, and partner A, it's a giving competition, okay? And if you win, everybody wins, okay? Enjoy reading your partner your poems. Go ahead. First of all, I want you to give a huge hug to your partner and just thank them so much for sharing. Just thank them for sharing their poetry and their lives with you. And while you're at it, give a hug to the person on the other side, because why not? You know, it's okay. Everybody deserves a hug. All right. Everybody can sit back down again. All right. Let's take one more collective deep breath. Ready? In through the nose. Make some noise when you let it out. You're fucking done. You did it. Was this a meaningful experience for you? Raise your hand. Okay, amazing. I do want to give out 2 gifts. I have this journal. It's called the Never Ending Now Poetry Journal, We just put it out with an incredible company called Passion Planner for Mental Health Month. And this has more prompts and paths to you using poetry for wellness, mental and emotional in your life. And I feel like these two need to be given out to Brody and Heather. So give a lot of love again. Give it up one time for Brody. Yeah, of course, bro. And show a lot of love to Heather, everybody. Okay, God bless you. If you want to use this QR code, you can sign up to stay in contact with me, but also I will give you a digital copy of the journal. So if you want to get your physical copy, you can, and I have a book and a bunch of art out in the world. But if you want to stay connected, we will send you a digital copy of the journal as well for you guys as individuals. Because I'll start with you guys as individuals. You don't need me to physically be here for you to use this as an outlet in your life. All you have to do is choose something moving and meaningful. You have to say, I'm writing a poem. You have to try to not make something great, just make something true. And then you can use the prompts from the journal, or you can say, what is something that I want to create? What is a dream or a goal that I have? What is an area in my life that I want to grow in? What is a moment that changed who I am? All you have to do is go through these types of prompts, give yourself 10 or 15 minutes to write about it, and then try to share it with one person in your life. So that's for you guys as individuals. Now, this is a bit of a scattered community from the standpoint of like everybody comes to the gathering every year, but not everybody comes every year. And you guys don't work together on a regular basis. But I do want to say, I do this for a living. And I love doing this. I love doing this with companies because I love creating an environment for people to be human together so that they can deeply connect and remember that they have to try to be on each other's side, that they all have individual dreams, but they have a collective dream. And if they remember that and they see the humanity in each other, everything becomes exponentially easier. So if you do the QR code, you can also give us your information. We'll stay up to date on new stuff. And if you want to hire me, you could also bring me out for something. Everybody close your eyes. This will be the final thing. We went into some deep stuff today. So I just want you to think about your biggest dream, the thing that you want more than anything in the world right now. It could be for yourself. It could be for somebody that you love. It could be for the planet. But just put your energy there for a moment. And now I want you to think of a situation in which your dream is already a reality, in which everything you want is not somewhere in the future, it's right here and right now, and I want you to activate the feelings that you would feel. All of the love, all of the joy, and all of the gratitude. Put a smile on your face. Open up your eyes. I have a lot of love and joy and gratitude for you guys for taking this weird poetic journey with me. I do want to say, before I do my final piece and let you guys go off, you can leave now, it's fine, no worries. Do you guys want me to do a final piece? Okay. I want to say that I feel like the emotion and the intimacy and the vulnerability in this room was kind of sparked off by Ryan's talk because he did lead by example. And I feel like everybody used that invitation and that permission to step into this moment. So I just want to thank all of you guys for being here. It's hard for me to say yes. It's easier for me to say next year when the weather's fine. when I have the money or the time or the relationship I want or the career or the house or the car or the watch, life pass me by waiting for an invitation when the world is greater than my nation or my occupation. The only thing I know is that we're all in this together. And the future of this earth depends on how we treat each other. But how we treat each other starts with how we treat ourselves. And how we treat ourselves starts with how we see ourselves. And how we see ourselves starts with context. I mean, nothing can exist without its opposite. Remember this, the next time you find you're in an argument and both sides are talking shit and you forget your point except you're angry now and want to win, so you continue yelling till they give it up by giving in, so you can stand victorious because you're right on what again? Do I laugh on instinct or do I choose to laugh? Do I ask because I care or do I merely ask? I ask you this because I care about how humans act. We're animals, aware of our future and our past, and this can be an obstacle to traveling our path. Instead of just accepting where we're at, we analyze our tracks for what we could have had, looking back, focused on the memories instead of on the facts, hence what we attract. Still, it's strange to factor in how fast it really flashes past. It's an exponential graph from creation into ash. Me, I'm sentimental 1 minute. Then I'm making plans, staking claims, shaking hands, breaking out, then breaking in. I have about 1 billion mimes hidden underneath my skin, and they can pull my face into a grin or push my wrinkled forehead in. So pour the gin, philosophize, because no one has your awesome eyes. Your view is worth the lows and highs we go through on this roller coaster ride. Control has got us holding on when letting go could be more fun. Hands up. Everybody, put your fucking hands up. You remember when you hit yourself at the beginning? Do that again. Use your voices this time. Go, ah. Do it on the shoulder of a person next to you. Do it on the shoulder of the other person next to you. Bring it back up. Now let it drop. Eventually, your life is going to stop. It's going to level out, then come back up until you reach a different top, because one day all your wheels fall off. So take advantage of your shocks. Do something you've never done. Do someone you've never done. That works better in a bar. Go someplace you've never gone. Someplace that will scare you. Be someone you've never been. You feel all that adrenaline? It's medicine to jumpstart a spark inside your skeleton. See, everywhere you are is where you're supposed to be. So hopefully, you're hopelessly as lost as me. Because if you're not, you ought to be. I'm in Q. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for taking this journey with me.